and welcome everybody. Thanks for taking the time to come and share this moment with us. My name is Philippe Divry. I'm the CEO of Flexis. I've been in the logistic and automotive industry for 35 years. The last 25 years at Volvo Group, which is a world leader of truck, bus, and construction equipment. I spent more of half my career away from France on 3 continents, and I came back to France to lead this exciting project, Flexis. As I told you, I've been working in this industry for a long time, and what strikes me is that every time I go to a logistic conference, all the speakers say more or less the same thing, whether they are transport operators or retailers who are subcontracting their operations. They all want to decarbonize their operations. They all want their deliveries to be zero emission at the latest by 2030. And so far, they haven't done it, and they haven't found the solution that they could scale up with and really reach these targets. Because the current solutions, they have to choose today between being carbon-free and being economically profitable or operationally efficient. That's the contradiction that they are facing with, and which is preventing them to be on track for their targets. Flexis will offer that solution to make it possible to go electric and at the same time improve profitability and operational efficiency. And when I'm saying that Flexis is a solution, it's also a business solution. We are not here just to propose innovative vehicles. We are also proposing a combination of vehicles, services, coming and specialized for the B2B market, and also a different way of interacting with customers. And this is why our solutions are 100% electric, 100% designed for urban use, 100% connected and digital, and 100% adaptable. 100% electric, you will see it on the other side of the door. We have been redesigning everything for the electric technology. And because we are starting from a blank sheet of paper, we're able to offer strong improvements in terms of energy efficiency, which translates into a better range for the vehicle, and also a much higher charging speed. 100% urban, our vehicles have been completely redesigned around improving the logistic and delivery operations. This is not a car. This is a product with which drivers and operators make a living. They spend at least 8 hours a day in their vehicle. And it's not just driving, it's also going in and out dozens of times every day. And we needed to improve the maneuverability and the capacity of the vehicles. We are also bringing strong improvements in terms of ergonomy. And finally, also improving strongly safety, both for the drivers and for the pedestrians. 100% connected. Those vehicles will be equipped with a new generation of electronic architecture called SDV, which stands for Software Defined Vehicle, which has been developed by the Ampere, which is a unit of the Renault Group, in partnership with key players like Google, Qualcomm, Valeo. And what this new generation of electronic architecture brings is that basically it turns the vehicle into a computer on wheels. And when you have that, with a clear differentiation between this hardware layer, the software layer, and the interfaces with the outside and the cloud interfaces, then you get several possibilities which are new in this segment. First of all, you can offer the whole portfolio of B2B-oriented services which exists in other industries like trucking, buses, and which so far were not available for that segment. Second thing, you can very easily integrate this vehicle and make it a connected device in the existing IT environment of the customers. Because customers have multi-brand fleets. They already have systems in their operations, and they don't want to change systems or have to adapt every time they get a new vehicle. The Flexis vehicle, like a smartphone, will be able to connect with any app or system that the customer already has, which makes it an open platform and is also a new feature. We talk about seamless integration. Last and not least, once you have that possibility, the vehicle becomes a connected device, and you can interact and offer new functionalities in connection with the rest of the logistic ecosystem. I was in Las Vegas at the CES 3 weeks ago, having discussions with players from the IoT industry, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, system on chips, all those possibilities that you can make the vehicle part of a bigger system, also smart cities, and offer functionalities which absolutely don't exist today. And like for the smartphone, when it started 15 years ago, none of us would imagine all the things that we would be able to do today with a smartphone. That is the same with this kind of open business platform that we have. So, I said 100% also adaptable. This is linked to the way of working with the customer. And you are here, actually, in the very room where we are having regularly, several times a week, workshops with our customers. We call it the Innovation Lab. And you have some of the drawings here, photos that we made during those sessions. Customers come, including, we have drivers, we have dispatch managers coming here, and we listen to their specific operation, to their context, to their pain points, and together we see how can we adapt the vehicles and the software to fit better with their specific need and optimize in their context. The other thing that is important is that thanks to our adaptation, and through the SDV system in particular, not only we can adapt the solution before the customers start to operate the vehicles, but also during the life of the vehicle, we'll be able to upgrade the vehicle, keep it up to date, but also you can subscribe new functionalities when they happen, in the same way as you can go to an app store on your smartphone and you can get and subscribe to new systems. So this means that we will be able to continuously improve the efficiency and get the learnings into the vehicle. We have, to do that, experts from not only vehicle industry, software, but also logistics, and of course, connected services. The other thing that is strong with Flexis, we are a small company, we're now 100% strong, but we have the support from our 3 founding shareholders and parents, Renault Group, leader in electric technology, Volvo Group, which is a leader into the B2B world of vehicles and services thought for fleet managers, and CMA CGM, which is a shipping giant also with a strong ground logistics branch, and whose teams are bringing us their day-to-day experience. They have been involved with us in the development and the fine-tuning of our solutions since the beginning. As I said, we are 100 people in the company, but behind us, through those parents and the support we get from them, we have actually more than 1,000 people who are involved in helping Flexis put and develop our solutions. The other thing that is important is that not only we have support from our 3 parents in terms of setting up the solution, we also have commercial support because we will sell those vehicles as Flexis under our own brand, but we will also supply vehicles to Renault and to Renault Trucks, which is part of the Volvo Group. And those two companies will also market and distribute their vehicles through their own network under their own brand. And you will probably attend from their part some communication that they will do in the coming weeks also on their side. The benefit is that through that, we can reach customers that you cannot reach in Flexis. You have craftsmen, small individual customers who are also interested in those products. And this, of course, helps us to increase the production volume and to be more competitive cost-wise. So, 100% electric, 100% design for urban use, 100% connected and digital, and 100% adaptable. This is a solution which is addressing the whole scope of customer operations, and this translates into an overall efficiency improvement of approximately 20% versus operating a diesel vehicle who doesn't have any of this connectivity and services. This is really the idea that, once again, you can accelerate the transition when you're a logistic player or retailer. You can accelerate your transition and do it profitably. We also, by doing this, improve strongly the working conditions of the drivers, which is a societal demand. You know also that companies in some areas struggle to keep their drivers on the job. In average, drivers stay 12 to 18 months on the job, which means that you have to constantly renew the workforce. If we can give them better working conditions, less tiring, more efficiency, we will help to stabilize the operations of our customers. I think it's time now to see what this concretely means, and for that, I would like to introduce our team who's going to take you on the other side. And please welcome Krishnan Sundararajan, Chief Operating Officer of Flexis, and Louis Moras, Chief Designer.
Hi.
Thank you, Philippe. Good afternoon, all. It's indeed a great pleasure to welcome you here. As CEO of Flexis, I manage the technology part, managing the program, running at the right speed with the right profit, and getting the cars out of the line, which is industrialization. That's the three important pillars that we focus. I've been doing cars for almost the last 30 years at different parts of the world, at Detroit, at London, at Japan, and then I moved to Paris last 4 years doing this great product. So, without much ado, I introduce Louis, who is my chief designer, and we will take you inside. Inside the room, we have one platform and 3 products that are derived from this platform. So we'll be very happy to show you that what are the genetics of the platform, how each of the vehicle is completely going to be differently disrupting all the points what Philippe mentioned. Indeed, 3 great products, and we can talk a lot about these products, but before that, the fundamental of the product is the platform. I request you to come to look into the platform, and I'll narrate the story of how we did this differently. I'm very pleased to announce this platform. This platform is natively built EV. It's a skate bowl platform. It runs in 800-volt electric architecture, one of the compact e-motor that are located at the rear of the vehicle. This allows us to have a floor height at 500 millimeter from the ground, which is the best in class. What does this mean is if there is 120 parcels to be delivered in a month, every day, 120 parcels, this person is going to avoid climbing an Eiffel Tower. That's why the floor height is so important for them. And then the electrical system being 800 volt, we have put the battery pack between the wheelbase, and the battery pack is structurally rigid, which can take every related torsion and rigidity. The battery runs in two chemistry, and the battery is also going to be super efficient, because in 18 minutes we can charge the full battery, which is again total cost of usage. We have ensured that in the electrical system, it's a flat floor. This allows us to have modularity of building different set of body types. That's something very important when you invest on a platform. So that's something that we could do coolly here. All the suspension characters are completely different here. This allows us to have the maneuverability of a B segment car, like a Polo or a Renault Clio. So that's something that we have done on this genetics of the platform. So platform is modular, urban friendly, and it is a high technology on this. We have built 20 platforms. I and Philip drove some of the cars. So this is at our test center, where the platform is put on a different body type, but this is a platform built, 20 platforms. We have covered almost 9,000 hours of driving. And you can see that in a parallel parking, it really works like a car. And this is something that very important for the users, the drivers who are having so much difficulty in looking into the parking. And looking into the turning circle diameter, this is like a Polo or Clio. You can see that this is something that is amazing in terms of urban friendly. That means all the narrow roads of Europe, you will be able to maneuverable in a very well way. Yeah. So this is something that clever what we did on the platform. And now from the platform, I take you to the three vehicles which we built over this platform, and I go one by one. The first body type, we call it as a panel van in the world of the vans, which is panel van. It comes in two lengths, two wheelbases, and it comes at 1.9 meter height. This is something very important for the underground parking. And this van is shorter than ICE vehicles by 250 millimeter by length. This means we are able to give more cubic volume for the given length of the car. Now, being said all of the physics of the car, I now hand over to Louis, who will talk about the styling attributes of this van.
Thank you, Krishan. So you can see here a very modern vehicle, timeless, because the EV vehicle will stay longer on the road, timeless and aerodynamic. We were talking about urban friendly. We don't have a front overhang anymore. It's super short. We don't have corners. So it's going to be super agile in the city, super easy for the driver, because we have a three-part windshield, so the visibility will be absolutely great. In terms of aerodynamic, we have a mono-volume vehicle. We have the body side that are really slick, and with a thick and big protection in the bottom of the body side. And on the rear end, you will be able to see it later today. We have winglets and also spoiler, and a little bit of tighten up the rear end for the aerodynamic in order to increase the autonomy of the car. So looking at the second vehicle here, it's the best of both worlds because of the rigidity of the platform. We have the rigidity of chassis cab, but at a height of floor cab. We have the same front end, of course, it's the same vehicle. And if I can say a word on the cockpit, you will be able to see also the cockpit later. We have a very modern toolbox, if I may say, on the instrument panel. A big 10-screen cluster, 12-inch navigation system. And of course, we will have the perceived quality of a personal car. Okay, and we put a lot of attention also on the seat, on the materials, and of course, the box you see here is just one example. You can imagine all sorts of boxes for big volumes, for fridge, or even tippers for construction equipment.
So in both these cars or in the platform, we have, especially in the cargo van, we have ensured that we are removing all the reinforcement that are needed on a chassis cab. You save 300 kilogram, which is the payload that will be given to the customer. And the most important thing is we are also putting the EPTO, electric power takeoff. This allows us to put any of the refrigerated boxes or any of the electric devices that can be attached to the cargo van. The parts until this line of the car are completely carryover. That means in the production line, we are going to completely ensure that there is a scale of operation in terms of cost efficiency and the perceived quality of the car. Now let's go to the third one.
Let's go to the iconic vehicle, the step-in van. So the step-in van is having the same front end as the panel van. It's based on the same platform, and you have to keep that in mind. So this vehicle will be 527 meter. It's 2.6 meter high and 190 width. We also have the 3-part windshield for the best visibility. We are carrying over or carrying across the IP, the instrument panel. So in a low volume production car, we will get the same perceived quality as a high volume production car. We have 2 sliding doors that are located in the cockpit. Sliding, you don't need to extract them to slide. It's super easy to maneuver. And in the back, we have a shutter to fill the truck during the morning. Krishnan, I leave you the floor.
So we have closely studied the North American vans that have completely optimized the B2B world, but we wanted to bring all the attributes that how this can be deployed in the European street. And second one is scale of operation. As you can see, that all the 3 vehicles will have common across parts. This allows us to run the production in a flawless manner in the industry. There are elements that we have put in this car. Yeah. The first one is driver ergonomics. We looked into the details of how the driver need to be positioned in the vehicle compared to the other vans where there is a lot amount of ingress and egress for the driver. So we located the H point of the driver in such a way the driver is able to have a fatigue-free life. The driver's safety is attached to the driver's safety is attached to the fatigue, and we have paid a lot of attention on the visibility for the driver, the opening effort and closing effort of the driver. Since it is going to be a connected device, running in a centralized architecture, all the goods that are going to be mobilized from this vehicle is going to be completely ring-fenced. That means the driver has the full control on the security of the goods. Finally, this is a productivity mission. This is a productivity mission that is going to completely change the B2B world. For the driver, in order to deliver the parcel, we ran a lot of clinics and how much time they are spending on driving and how much time is picking the parcel and deliver. And that's why we prepared a walk-in version with 1.9 meters of head clearance. This allows the driver to seamlessly not only just drive, but pick the parcel and deliver at each of the location. So we have been careful to design the headliners and the car to ensure that the driver is able to seamlessly operate in all the manner. The rear one is not the rear of the vehicle. We don't have the French doors. We have the shutters, which allow us, the driver, to easily load and unload the car. One of a salient feature of this vehicle is called the delivery button. This is a game changer. Here you can reconfigure the different functionality thanks to the SDV. You can configure different functionalities that you can put on the button. You can have the blinkers on. You can have the doors open and close. You can pass on messages on alerts. You can pass messages on what sort of functionalities that are. There are 5 or 6 functionality. Each cluster of the customer, whether it's a logistic operator or parcel deliverer, they can reconfigure that thanks to the SDV architecture. So in this object is an object which is a productivity tool, and we have ensured that all the attributes what we have put in this object is addressing the needs of the urban logistics. We have carefully ensured that the floor height of the platform is taken care, but the step also is designed in such a way that there is an easy ingress and egress for the driver. These are the hardware attributes. But as I say, when you want to solve the urban logistics, it's a solution that is driven from the hardware and connecting it to the software and how the fleet can completely monitor. So over to this, I will now pass on to Pierre, who will take you through the solutions that we are building around these hardwares to create the complete value chain for the program.
Welcome. Good afternoon. So I'm Pierre Ciroli. I have also a long career in automotive, especially in the truck industry. I've been working as telematics expert, developing connected services, product development, aftermarket, sales, and my last assignment was managing director for Renault Trucks in Italy. And that's why I recognize some of you. Forza Italia, ciao. And I'm back to France now to take the management, the responsibility of service and solution in Flexis. As my colleague explained, you understand that our customer, they have to face three main challenges. First of all, I mean, there is a huge competitive landscape outside. Secondly, they really need to be compliant with the UE climate neutrality. And then, last but not least, they really need to achieve their goals with the customers, while maintaining their competitiveness and, of course, to be sure that they will make more and more money. So the mission of Flexis is really to make it happen. And that's why we need to help our customer to decarbonize. So how we will do it? You understood that we have a fantastic, amazing vehicles. Maybe I'm a bit partial, but I can assure you that this platform is really amazing. And you understand that thanks to it, we will reduce the length of the vehicle. We will have a better range availability. We will have more robustness that will allow us to make a lot of things. We have this famous, delivery button, but still our customer, they need more and they need a complete offer. And that's why in Flexis, we will provide this complete offer. Two main axes. First of all, we will provide, let's say, basic services to ensure a peace of mind to our customer in their day-to-day operation. And secondly, as we are adaptable, we are currently co-creating with customers to be sure that we will provide innovative solutions. If now we take a look at the 4 pillars of our offer, we will, first of all, ensure that the vehicle is up and running, because the first thing our customer they need is to be sure that the vehicle is up and running. Be aware that we are in a B2B world where the manager, the team leader, the dispatcher, they have to manage many vehicles, 50 per depot. They have multiple depots, so they need really to be sure that the vehicle is up and running. Then, second pillar, we really need to help them in the charging of the vehicle. And once the vehicle is up and running, it has to be charged. Third, then they can start to work really on their operation. When I mean on their operation, I mean the transport of the goods. And here we will provide operational efficiency. And last but not least, we will provide innovative solution to finance their vehicles plus services. Let's dig into more detail. So uptime, I will do a deep dive after, and I will explain you in details what we mean by uptime. Energy and CO2, what we would like to achieve with our customer. First of all, we will advise them and help them to have the right infrastructure at their depot. When you have to charge 50 vehicles or 60 vehicles, then you have to have a clear strategy there. So do I have DC do I need DC charger, AC charger? What is the right mix? And we do provide this advice, and we will build for them the solution. Then, once we are ready, then we need to monitor and to be sure that they are able to charge the vehicle accordingly to their needs. So basically, we need to be sure that there is charging planning, to be sure that they can allocate the resources for the vehicle, and be sure that the vehicle are ready to make their job the day after. Of course, on the top of that, we will provide real-time CO2 reports to demonstrate to our customer that we we maintain our promise, which is a minus 60% reduction of CO2, cradle to grave. Operational efficiency, what does it mean? First of all, we will act on the driver. So we will provide coaching, for the driver. So coaching, so eco driving, safety driving, to be sure that the driver is safe and also that they have the right level of consumption in terms of energy. One of the things we can do, thanks to our SDV technology, we can imagine to adapt the behavior of the vehicle depending on the way the driver is acting. Basically, if I'm a brand new driver, maybe we will limit some acceleration or functionalities of the vehicle to be sure that the driver is safe and to be sure that the consumption is consistent with what the manager is waiting for. Then, secondly, we will work also on the cargo zone of the vehicle. So with the platform, you have seen as we can push, at the limit the wheels, we can increase the cargo zone where we can put the wheels in the vehicle. But now, what we are trying to, or what we are experiencing with our customer is, what is the Tetris game, right? And here we have an algorithm to be sure that we can put all the parcels accordingly to the routing they have to do after, so accordingly to the delivery. So when they're using the step-in van, they enter, they find the right parcel, they gain time, and then they can deliver more parcels at the end of the day. And third, of course, we are working on the routing, which is the optimization of the journey or the route to be sure that, again, we can increase the number of deliveries, the number of parcels that will be delivered. And here, as we are able to provide real-time information because we are 100% connected, we know exactly what is the range, what is the available range of the vehicle, and then maybe help the dispatcher to do one additional stop and then to increase again their productivity. Financing, I will explain a bit later. Then, what is the DNA of Flexis? Philippe, our president, mentioned that we're adaptable. What does it mean? It means that we will provide, or we are providing to our customer, tailor-made solution, which means that we have 5 levels of support, starting from data. So we will be fully transparent with our customer. So we will provide all the data we have from the vehicle, from the ecosystem we are building, to be sure that they can do seamless integration in their own environment. Then, of course, if they ask us, we can operate the services for them, which means that if they delegate to us one service, we can do it for them. So, for instance, if they ask us, okay, I need to monitor, the goods of my vehicles, then we will have system that we help the customer to monitor the goods, and then we will alert them and control what is going on the parcels. Then, of course, we are also able to guarantee results together with the customer. And here we are able to sign, to commit on service level agreement with our customer to be sure that we can guarantee our solutions. So 5 levels of support from data up to guarantee of the services. Let's now dig into what I mean by uptime. So you remember uptime is, the objective is really to maintain on the road the vehicles of our customer. Remember that we have a software defined vehicle, which means that we have a fantastic technology on board that allows us to do a lot of things that I will detail now. First of all, we will act proactively against our customer in a dynamic manner to be sure that we have a plan maintenance, a dynamic plan maintenance, which means that we are able to aggregate operation, to optimize over time the operation, to be sure that we ensure the uptime of our customer. And here, during the life of the vehicle, we are able to save at least one stop in terms of plant maintenance. Then we are developing preventive and predictive maintenance. You will say to me, yeah, okay, common. We have already heard about preventive and predictive maintenance. But here, think about the fact that we have SDV. What does it mean? It means that within the vehicle, without adding, real sensors, we're able to build virtual sensors, which means that with data that we are grabbing within the vehicle, we are able to build algorithms that will help us to prevent, to make predictive maintenance, which means that we are able to understand for each and every vehicle what's going wrong, what's going well. Very important. And then, on the top of that, as we are 100% connected, we will retrieve those data, and thanks to that, we will be able to make statistics, to create algorithms that will help us to predict the behavior of our vehicles, which means that if I know that if you are using the vehicle in a certain manner, then I know that the vehicles that are similar, that are doing the same job, I know when they will fail. So as a consequence, we are able to anticipate breakdown, which means that I'm able to call a customer and say to him, listen, within 5,000 kilometers, if you don't fix this and this, you will have an issue. This is not a dream. This is already what is happening in the truck industry, and this is one of the knowledge we are bringing into Flexis to be sure that we can industrialize, this, let's say, overall uptime. And last but not least, again, back to SDV. SDV means that we have a new centralized electronic architecture. Thanks to that, you know what we can do? We can update the vehicle, which means that we can fix issues remotely. We can upgrade, which is like on your telephone, when there is a new version or when there is something that has been enhanced, we can roll out it in an easy manner. And also, we can integrate third-party solution to be sure that we are introducing, new features. So, very important on the uptime, 4 levels. Thanks to the technology, we are able to do it. Then, of course, those are the concepts. But on the services, what will make the difference? On the services, the difference is done through execution. So that's why in Flexis, we are fully digitalized. First of all, we will provide an entire digital ecosystem. Of course, we will have our, let's say, user-end website and platform, but this platform will be totally open, which means that we will be able to share data with customer partners. We will be able also to provide a multi-brand solution, so not only Flexis vehicle, but be sure that we can address the entire fleet of our customer. And this allows us really to be fully digitalized and then to share the entire ecosystem with our customer. This is pretty unique because usually the OEMs, they don't have this open platform and they don't share all the data. Then, of course, as you understood, we have 2 big stakeholders that are in the automotive industry, so Renault and Volvo. So it means that from the day one of the Flexis, we will have an entire coverage in Europe in terms of repairing network. So we will have the possibility, thanks to the agreement we have, to use the network of Run Trucks in Europe and to use the network of Renault in Europe for our customers. And that will make the difference to be sure that we can ensure the right service to the customer. And then, last but not least, we are creating a customer operational center based in Lyon. And this customer operational center consists in a set of service experts that will have the responsibility to deliver the services to our customers. What is unique is that those people will be dedicated per customer. So they will address all the pain points, all the issues, all the opportunities for our customer in a unique manner, and there will be a single point of contact that we call Fleet Advisor. But now, to explain you in more detail what I'm talking about, please help me to welcome on stage Anne-Virginie. She is the manager. Good. She is the manager of the Customer Operational Center, and she will explain us through an example what does it mean exactly. Anne-Virginie, floor is yours.
Thank you, Pierre. Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here to explain you what is the Customer Operational Center of Flexis. So the Customer Operational Center of Flexis, it's a central hub of experts in service and fleet management. And those experts are really there to support our customers on a daily basis. They are there as well to support our customer to improve their productivity, to support them in their sustainability goals. And, but let's explain you more in detail what is happening into this customer operational center. If we take the example of one customer, for instance, having a fleet of 200 vehicles in 10 warehouses spread in the territory, those warehouses, they have one team leader that is managing the deliveries, and the main concern for those team leaders, it's really to make sure that the goods is going on time, at the right place, for the right delivery, but it's also to secure those deliveries with a lack of drivers. So it's really a tough job for those dispatchers, those team leaders, and they don't have time to take care of the vehicles. So it's there where the Customer Operational Center will enter and will support the customer. If we imagine that this customer subscribed to a service of delegation of charging operations, let's take an example. In the Customer Operational Center, we will receive an alert for a charging issue, for instance, and the Services and Fleet Advisor will then make a diagnostic, identify that the charging point has an issue, and it will proactively and immediately advise the customer that something wrong is going on into that charging point, and will automatically advise to move the vehicle into another one charging point. So in that case, we secure the delivery as it was planned for the day, but in parallel, the Services and Fleet Advisor will make sure that the faulty charging points will be repaired as well, with all the partners we will have for that customer to support the repair of those charging points. So, and then we secure the deliveries for the next days in that case. So you understand that the Flexis Services and Fleet Advisor are really there, dedicated by customer, as Pierre mentioned earlier. They are there to support our customer, to make their life easier, to bring peace of mind in their daily operation, and they are also there to support them in accelerating their decarbonization. Pierre, thank you for this. Thank you.
So you understood that in Flexis, we have a unique combination between technology and service expert, and that's pretty unique. And that's why we used to say that we are driven by technology, but powered by service experts. So we have 4 pillars. We want our customer to have their vehicle up and running. We want to be sure that they are able to charge it. We help them on the operational efficiency day to day. And then also on the financing, we will have a unique approach on the market. So to translate all the things we are bringing on the market, and you remember the level of support we are able to do from data up to guarantee, you know, the services, but we want to translate that in concrete things, concrete action. And for me, what is concrete is the euro. So it means that, and sorry, the pound, of course, for one country, but the euro. What does it mean? It means that we want our solution to be pay-per-use, which means that all the flexibility we are given to the customer, so flexibility of the contract duration, flexibility on, you know, the activation and non-activation of the services, the fact that we want the customer to pay for what they are consuming. That's why in our financial solutions, we will provide pay-per-use solutions. Thank you. And now I give back the floor to Philippe, our president, for the conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Thanks, Pierre, and it's really a pleasure to be able to share with you what we have been working on for all those years, both in terms of vehicle, but also our service vision, because that's what Flexis really is. It's electric and digital at the same time. Now to say a few words about Flexis as a company, where are we and where are we going? As I told you, we are today 100 people. We will be 200 people by the end of this year. And what's interesting is that we started with a group of people who were mostly coming from Volvo Group and from Renault Group. But now, every time we make new hirings, we get more and more people joining us from other companies or other industries. We have people who are coming from other car manufacturers and who see the benefit and want to be part of offering something new to the market. We got specialists from logistic industry, from digital and software, who see a great opportunity to bring something new. Flexis, it's also an investment of overall 1 billion euros. And out of this 1 billion, we have already executed 360 million of R&D. And you have seen the prototypes there. We have those hundreds of engineers involved. At the stage we're in now, having engaged these 360 million euros of R&D, that means that the technology is stable. We know exactly the product, the technology is at high level of maturity, and we have now started industrialization. We have ordered tooling, which means that in the second half of this year, with those tools, we'll be able to produce our first pre-series vehicles, which will be used for further testing and also for customer demonstration. And then we are well on track to keep our target of launching serial production middle of next year in the Saint-Douville plant in Normandy, which is a factory which is specialized in light commercial vehicles and already producing light commercial vehicles today. Finally, and that's the most important, it's customers. We talked to you about all these co-creation activities and those relationships we have with our customers. This is now formalized through 10 letters of intent, and those letters of intent are collaboration protocols through which those companies and Flexis have decided to put resources in common and spend several months to actually fine-tune and finalize the development of those specialized hardware and software solutions. And attached to those 10 letters of intent is a demand altogether of approximately 15,000 vehicles in the first 3 years, which is a very encouraging number, reminding you that we started the company less than a year ago, and we have actually started to engage with customers after the summer last year. We are, of course, continuing to have more discussions with potential additional customers, and we have a much higher target to sign many more such letters of intent. Among those customers, I'm proud and happy to share that we can count on Colis Privé, which is a French company specialized in last mile delivery, and which is a subsidiary of Seva Logistics belonging to the CMA CGM group. Big player who has been working with us for more than a year now on fine-tuning and adapting exactly for their needs. Then internationally well-known DB Schenker. I don't think I need to introduce DB Schenker to you, and we only have half an hour. And then finally in the UK, a new company called Hive, who won the award of Startup of the Year last year, and which has a strategy of electric and digital operation which perfectly fits with Flexis' vision and value proposition. I think the best is that we listen to Matthias Krieger, who from Hive, and tell us with his own words why Flexis and Hive are a great combination.
Matthias, thank you for having us here to talk about this collaboration between Hived and Flexis. So please tell us more about Hived.
Hived is looking to reinvent mass market package logistics. We're looking to build an end-to-end replacement of an old-style legacy parcel logistics network focused around customer centricity, electric transport, technological innovation, and many more things.
What about Flexis' approach stood out for you?
When you look at existing delivery vehicles, a van today has to work both for the plumber as well as for a delivery company, meaning that it doesn't quite 100% work for the plumber or the delivery company. And so what we find very exciting is the prospect of influencing a vehicle development centered around the use case that we're facing every day on the basis of shared values.
What pain points do you see Flexis addressing as you guys scale?
We have a reduced degree of efficiency in our operation. Now, the exciting thing about the Flexis program and approach is that we will be able to integrate our proprietary technology stack, meaningfully impact the efficiency of our operations, we'll be able to support the driver much better. The vehicle gives us that opportunity to really engage technologically.
How do you see this collaboration evolving across the next few years?
Flexis is obviously getting ready for that next step in the development journey, and this is really an interesting time for us to contribute to that journey and take the learnings that we've made into the mass market production phase where we can really get those vehicles in our network on the road. That's something that will be very, very rewarding to see.
So Matthias, what excites you about collaborating with Flexis?
We're particularly excited about integrating the vehicle into our feedback loops across the business, making technical changes, making operational changes on the back of that, and seeing it in real life at large scale.
So why do you think this collaboration between Hived and Flexis is not just important for us, but for the urban logistics sector in general?
We're trying to build a logistics network that is more sustainable, more efficient, more technology-driven, more customer-centric. Us working together very closely on a vehicle basis, I can see it having a halo effect for the industry
to hopefully, keep up with this change.
Good. I think it's always better to hear it from the customer's voice. And for us all here, every time we have a customer workshop or an interaction with a customer, we validate our vision and we get high energy and enthusiasm from that. I think this is the perfect example of what Flexis is about. Our mission is to help companies to accelerate their energy transition and do it profitably and improving their operational efficiency. We have a holistic solution which is covering the whole scope of their operation. It's not just a vehicle, it's everything around it, and it's also a new way to interact. Our technology is both innovative but also deeply grounded in the reality. And we have this positive market response that we're so happy with and which is fueling and inspiring us every day. We are the most ambitious and at the same time most credible initiative about electric vehicles in Europe. I think I'd like to thank you for your attention, and now my team and I will be available to answer questions, first on stage, and then after that, around the vehicles. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Megan Kelly. I'm from Automotive Logistics. I was just wondering, what does your battery supply chain look like?
Okay. We will have actually two sizes of batteries, one with a normal range and one with a long range, because customers want different type of, I would say, autonomy on their vehicles. And these batteries will be coming from two different chemistries, and they will have two different suppliers, both of them located in Europe. So it's a European supply chain.
Hi, James Dallas from Watvan. So what will the range of these two batteries be then? The driving range?
I think.
Yeah, the panel van at the 460 kilometer drive range.
Okay.
And since you're going to put it in the higher van, which is of a higher, less of aerodynamics, it's 320 kilometer WLTP.
Great, thank you.
Hello, Fabrizio Dallenogare from Sustainable Truck and Van. Today, ASEA released its latest data on vehicle registration in Europe, and we saw that electric vans decreased last year compared to 2023. At the beginning of your speech, Mr. De Vries, you were talking about the necessity to balance environmental sustainability and economic sustainability. Those products you described seem to be very innovative and also very, let's say, complicated. Okay, so maybe my question is, how do you want to balance the economic sustainability of the vehicles? So helping customers to afford new and innovative vehicles for their fleets.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I think first of all, what you have seen last year, I think we all know that there was a change in the subsidy system and so on, and that creates always a blip. When I talk with customers today and all the logistic players, nobody doubts that at 2030, we'll be halfway in the transition, and 2035, everything will be electric. There is no doubt, and that's what also they put in their strategy targets. As usual, of course, change is not linear. If you look at all the large technological transitions, they happen in what is called an S-curve, which means that it starts slow. You have the first products which are not very competitive, they are not very operational, and suddenly when someone comes, and that's what we are going to do at Flexis, with a significantly improved product which can fit a much wider span of operation, then you suddenly see it accelerating. And the rule of thumb is that it takes as much time to go from 0 to 10% with a technology change as it takes afterwards to go from 10% to 90%. So I think we are well engaged. What I can say also is that our very intention is to precisely make it more efficient to operate. Not only the vehicle will be over a lifetime cheaper to operate, but on top of that, you can produce and deliver more with the same asset. That's the trick about this 20% efficiency improvement that I've been talking about. Actually, we consider that vans are the sweet spot for electrification. And there are two reasons for that. One is what I told you about the fact that all the companies want to be carbon-free in their deliveries. And it's not just the transport companies, it's also all the retailers who are ordering transport. They want to be emission-free because home delivery is now 30 to 50% of their total business. So this is part of the customer experience for their brands. It's part of their brand image, and they are pushing the transport company, independent of regulation. Of course, on top of that, you have all the regulations in the cities to have zero-emission zones and so on. The second thing is that it's not just a regulatory movement, or it's just not a sort of strategic, idealistic movement. It's also a very rational decision for professional players. Because an electric van of our range will be more or less the same cost, in the same range cost as a medium-sized car, electric car. But you drive 3 times more with a van than you drive with a car. So you get the payback on your investment 3 times more than with a car. And that is why for professional companies who make all those calculations, they just don't look at the initial price. They look at the lifetime cost. That makes perfect sense for them as soon as someone like us is able to come with a product which is at a competitive price, with improved range, practicality, a charging that works, all these peace of mind things. And on top of that, the efficiency improvement that is a real game changer for them. I'm sorry it was a long answer, but I think it's to explain why it's so rational.
If I may, Philippe, to complement, that's why we are pushing, for a complete offer, because of course we need to support and help our customer, to make it easier in their day-to-day operation, and it's part also of, the cost reduction, blah blah, and competitiveness.
Yeah, sorry.
Last year, the Renault Group CEO, Luca De Meo, he said that these new vans, these new Flexis vans, will be marketed under the Renault brand. Am I correct?
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I said also here.
Yes. So what is then afterwards the function of the name Flexis?
Yeah.
Will it stay just for services and solutions?
Okay. Thank you for the question, because it's something that is worth being repeated. As I told you, those vehicles will be sold under several brands. They will be sold by Flexis under its own brand, marketed as a solution packaged, but you also have other types of customers. There are not only big fleets, okay, in the logistic industry. You also have craftsmen, plumbers who need vans and so on. And those people, you cannot reach them with a centralized sales team. You need a network with high capillarity and proximity. So this is why our vehicles will be sold both through those specialized professional B2B fleets by Flexis, and also the network and the other brands, Renault and Renault Trucks, which is part of the Volvo Group, will also have those vehicles under their brand in the network to maximize volume coverage and maximize, of course, our volume. Sorry, maximize market coverage and maximize our volume. I think, yeah.
I'm now. Matko Jovic, Cargo Magazine Croatia. You said that production will be in Sandouville plant, and so you will have a dedicated facility for you, or use existing lines for production, or what? And if I may, second question for PTO, will be some electric plug, electric motor, or electric motor running hydraulic pump?
I think, yeah.
Firstly, I go to the reverse. First, EPTO, it's electric driven. So you take the source of the battery. We will have a power takeoff from the battery, so it allows you to do the EPTO. So directly they tap the power from the battery. In terms of plant at Sandouville, all the specific capex and all the specific investment are owned by Flexis. And everything that is common is allocated between Renault, other product lines, and ours. That's how we are operating.
Maybe to add on your comment, the complementarity between Renault, Volvo, and Flexis is a great, strong asset in our setup. Because I'm sometimes asked the question, are you part of Renault and Volvo? Are you a startup? And I'm saying we're the best of both worlds. We have the flexibility and the agility and the focus of a smaller company, but we're able to leverage all the capabilities that our founding parents have, and that makes us much more able to deliver and execute on our promise. So that's this balance, which is really the best of both worlds.
I guess I'm next. Martin Mixa from Cargo Magazine. Yeah. I have two questions, actually. First is, I see you have standard mirrors instead of cameras. So if you were looking into that possibility to have digital cameras instead of the mirrors. And the second question, outside, among the parts that you display, there is a part with Arrival on it. So if there's any connection between Flexis and former Arrival brand.
Yeah. Which one do I take?
I'll take the second one. I'll take the second one and I hand over to you. No,
I will compliment.
As you know, we are using parts from various competition benchmarks to have the dialogue with customers and get their feedback. So, no, we don't have anything to do.
Sometimes it is worth to see how things fail. Yeah? Right? Do you need to put a composite body? Do you need to do a central position of a driver's seat? So you need to see all the competitor trends. But there are some good things that they have, and we have inspired many of the good things from all the competitors. So we didn't want to just see the conventional LCV customers, but we also want to look into all those disruptive companies, because we are going to be disruptive. That's why that lamp is there. Okay. On the cameras, I'm sure Philip is going to be very happy to ask this question, and maybe
chasing.
This guy has been killing me on this topic. Okay, first two things. Firstly, as you see that we have a heterogeneous application of different van types. When you have a DAF truck or a high-duty trucks that has a camera, you will normally don't hit any obstacle, and it's very easy to manage. But in this case, if the camera is snapped, you are completely bringing the tool off from the line, and hence we didn't want to put the camera in a heterogeneous application. But in a unique application, when the camera is needed, in the next generation or the next facelift, we will bring it at the right time.
Yeah. Thank you. Charlotte Sweeney from Fleet Transport in Ireland. Just in relation to, have you plans for outside of Europe as regards becoming a global product? There's a certain big company in America that produce their own design vans because obviously they're not happy with what is currently available. Maybe is there a collaboration in the pipeline with something like that?
You have a JV with any of the big companies. So to go to other geography, do you want to?
Okay. Now, first of all, we have decided that for the moment we are focusing on Europe because we have already a large agenda and we are serious industrial people. We know that when you start to scatter your efforts, you may fail. So we want first to succeed in Europe. After that, the second thing is that, and that's a dialogue we have been having constantly with Krishnan over the past years, we have designed the vehicles so that the platform can later evolve to fit the demands of other continents. So the platform is compatible if we want to take it to another geography. In a way, the beauty of that is that Europe is extremely demanding in terms of payload, in terms of length. And if you have an ultra-compact design, it's always easier later to make it a little bit bigger. So we are ready for that, but once again, we haven't taken any decision. We want first to make sure that we're well on track in Europe. Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, Green TV Media. I'm sure you have a compelling carbon saving proposition for your customers, but do you have a compelling cost saving for your customers? How much money will they save using your vehicles? Can you outline that in terms of some different use cases? So for example, a sole trader, a single electrician making his or her deliveries through to someone like a DPD or an Amazon. How will that cost saving profile look for those different use cases?
Thank you. As I said, in general, what we observe is a 20% efficiency improvement. And here I'm talking about our main target, which is organized fleets. I think that our main target is not the individual plumber and so on, because those are people who go from point A to point B with their vehicle, they transport their tools, but their job is not to transport. They don't make a living out of transport. But for the people who make a living out of transporting things and getting their goods delivered, the efficiency improvement will be over around 20% improvement in terms of cost per parcel or unit delivered compared to what you have today when you have a diesel van which is not connected and not involved in any of those telematics improvement.
Henrik Petro from Switzerland, regarding vehicle life cycle and sustainability also. If you have a big fleet with customized vehicles also in the whole solution with software and everything, you have some idea or already thought about what happens to vehicles after 5 years, 4 years? I mean, the operator wants to have new vehicles, but he also wants to be sure that he gets a good value for the old vehicles. Do you offer some solutions, or how do you see this issue?
I think, Pierre, you say that our vehicles are upgradable, which means that if you have specialized the software, you can always change it when you want to sell to another customer. You can also add more functionalities. And after that, the question already exists today. If you buy a standard van, you can resell it to anyone. If you have invested into a specialized body, already today on a diesel, you have to keep it longer. And what you see is that you have two types of companies who buy quite standard physical products and keep them 3, 4, 5 years. And then you have people who invest into a specialized body, and those people tend to keep it 10 to 15 years. Now, what we'll be able to do and to improve is that when you buy a used car, you look at the entertainment system, and already you can guess which year it's coming from because it looks a little bit outdated. We will be able to upgrade and put the latest version of interface, which will help to protect the value of the vehicle. And I think that after that, also our service offer and our pay-per-use, there will be an incentive for customers to keep the vehicles longer.
But this will work only if you also guarantee like a battery upgrade, so that I guess it's from the construction that you can. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. But I think we need to start from the beginning. I mean, today we will say to our customer, you need to have a longer contract than before. Because us in Flexis, we know the durability of our battery. Yeah. And as you were saying, we know that we can upgrade and update the vehicle, you know, like this, basically. Yeah? We have this on wheel. So this telephone has, you know, 4 years old, but I have the latest application on it. So it will be the same on the vehicle, which means that we will maintain the value of the vehicle. On the other end, because as you understand, the battery is one of the, let's say, cornerstone of the vehicle. As we are monitoring, you know, the battery in a deep manner, so the charging cycle, stuff like that, we know precisely what is the state of health of the battery, which means that as a consequence, we know perfectly, you know, the residual value of the vehicle. And then, based on that, we can have longer, as I said before, contract, and then once, you know, it's over, or we can refurbish the vehicle for a second life, and basically we need to change or not change the battery, and then we can improve, you know, the sustainability of the overall life cycle of the vehicle. So that's, in a simple manner, our strategy.
Thank you.
Alexander Glass from Poland.
Yeah.
I still have the problem to sort out where's your development, your experience, and where's, for example, intellectual property of mother company Renault.
Okay. Flexis is in charge of the development. Then we are subcontracting the development either to external companies or to some of the Renault engineering organization. The idea is that thanks to that, we are asset light. We have a small team of people, and before we created Flexis, the development had been initiated in Renault, and Krishnan was leading the program management team. And Krishnan and his whole team of 25 people who are the chief engineers and architects, they have moved over to Flexis, and now they are steering the work, the detailed work done by either some Renault units or some external engineering companies. And this allows us to be quite light, because once we will have designed and developed and launched the first family of vehicles, after that we'll have less money to spend in R&D. So that's also part of our flexibility. But we are in control of the product. Once again, that's part of this famous best of both worlds system, where we say we control what matters and we leverage what makes sense.
Hello, George Barrow from the UK. Of the customers who've signed the letters of intent to deal with you at some point, have they given an indication of what the model mix is that they're looking at? Are we talking about panel van customers or chassis-based customers?
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear in the beginning. You were talking about letters of intent? LOI. The LOIs?
Sorry, the customers that have signed letter of intent, have they given an indication of what type of vehicles they'll be looking to purchase?
Then I understood well. Thank you. Actually, what we observe is that when we start discussing with customers, they look at those three and they say, I want this one. The other two are not for me. And then large companies, they are spread over geographically. They are operating in very different cities. And if you're operating in Gothenburg, Sweden, or if you're operating in Bologna, the streets are a bit different and more narrow. Also, very often those big groups, they have grown through acquisitions and they have different type of operations. So the end result is that basically for each of those letters of intent, we end up with customers being interested at least in 2 of the 3 models. What I can say is that obviously the most, I would say, iconic one is the step-in, because it's something that doesn't at all exist on the European roads. But when people see the van or the cargo, first reaction is say, it's a van, okay, what's new? And then they realize everything that is on the platform and all the advantages. So I think, sorry, it was a long answer to say that it depends, but it's everything blended. Everything blended. Even if for the moment we have a quite higher proportion of step-ins.
Hi, I'm Garcelle. I'm from Fleet Europe. And my question is, do you predict that more vehicles of this kind are going to be introduced in the near future from competitors? And then also, why did your partners like Renault choose to collaborate versus independently making these vehicles by themselves?
You want to take?
Yeah, I can take it. If it has to be done independently by Renault, it's a big investment with less amount of return. I will explain, because as Philip mentioned, it's a logistic equation we are trying to solve. So you can't solve by a vehicle program profitability, it never works. So here what we are doing is, we are bringing the power of logistic solutions through Volvo, power of network solutions from both the motherships, so we are able to amalgamate the strength, and hence the profitability will be faster, number 1. Number 2, we also learned about the capillarity. So you have a capillarity to put it into the networks, and you're also able to do the project sales. So these are the 2 factors. These are the 2 factors that allow Renault to de-risk, but do the business in a different way by bringing championships from different sector and play the game. That's the idea.
Hi, I'm Charlene from Focus magazine in South Africa. I hear you that you say that the vehicles are going to be 20% more efficient than a diesel. What about the purchase price? Because obviously for the little guys out there, like your plumbers, they will look at the purchase price of the vehicle. How will that compare to a diesel?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear well some of, your question was about MS. Okay, no, but okay. It's a little bit too early to communicate exactly about catalog prices. We will do that by the end of the year, when we are much closer to serial production. What I can tell you is that we'll be extremely competitive because, A, we have a high volume platform. We make all those 3 models on the same platform with a high degree of commonality. And B, we are using also all the power of the sourcing power, purchasing power towards suppliers from the parent companies. So we're not just buying for Flexis, we're leveraging Renault and Volvo purchasing organizations who are buying for a much bigger number of vehicles. So, and I think that after that you will, I'm as impatient as you are to be able to announce the catalog price. It's a bit too early for that for the moment.
Hi, Tom Webster from the UK. 2 questions. First of all, how many vehicles do you anticipate being able to produce per year? And secondly, can you tell us a little bit more about the pay-as-you-go solution? How's that going to work? Who's it open to? And how is it different to, say, a lease or a contract hire agreement?
Okay. We have it as a policy to not give any production targets or sales targets. I think we obviously ambition to take a significant volume on the market, but we don't give any number at that stage. I think that after that, our factory, if that was your question about the factory, I'm sorry, I have an echo in the... Okay, you can take it, Pierre?
Yeah. So, I mean, the idea is really, you know, usually our customer, they pay for a monthly fee, you know, a fixed monthly fee. So our idea is really to take, units like kilometers, kilowatt hours, and to invoice them based on that. As simple as that. Exactly, depending on the usage, and that's why we can say that we will be competitive, and that's why we do think that we will be very supportive to our customer, because at the end they will pay for what they need or for what they use. Of course, then I don't want to enter into the detail of the contracts, but that's the overall idea. So you pay as you use. Thank you. I love your question. This is exactly what we want to do. I mean, we know that, the idea is that we cannot do everything by ourselves, because we are maybe very strong, in predictive maintenance. But, for instance, in, routing algorithm, we are not the best player on the market. And we are humble enough to say that. And that's why we are discussing. I will not reveal it now, because you have to stay tuned. So like this, you will follow us, and I will explain it in the coming weeks. But of course, we are working with, big players or leaders on the market to be sure that we have the best solution. And the way we want to address the market is really to take the best of everybody, to aggregate it, and to execute it through our customer operational center.
Akın Öcal from Turkey, autoticaret.com. My question is about the cargo van version of the vehicle. And do you consider adding with the seats behind of the vehicle as a leisure or family van?
If it is a cargo version, if your question is cargo version, I think your question is, do you want to have a dual cab version? Do I take it correct? Do you want a dual cab? This is 2-row, yeah? Is that your question?
I mean, like with the 6-seat behind.
Okay. So we, at the moment, are focusing on launching these 3 vehicles, and that will come in 3 brands, because we clearly said that we are going to go into 3 brands. We are getting into the execution of that, and they're all to be done in 2026. But future product reveals, we will tell at the right time.
I'm coming back to my first question about Renault and Renault trucks being dealers for the Flexis vans. We, as the International Van of the Year jury, we gave a trophy to Renault for their excellent electric master, and they also have an electric traffic. Does that mean that Flexis is their own in-house competitor? Or will the Flexis vans in the end replace the traffic and the master?
Today, they are, as I said, Flexis will commercialize those vehicles under our own brand. And then Renault and Renault Trucks will also have the possibility to distribute those vehicles under their own brand. And this is what happens everywhere in the industry. You have this sharing of platform and distribution agreements, OEM supply agreements. Yeah, already 2026. And after that, I'm convinced that the Van of the Year jury will make the right choice.
We can help you if you want.
We can help you to make the right choice. Yeah. No, over there.
Johannes Reichel, Logistra, Germany. Just a question, you've mentioned the batteries. What about the engines and the other components of the system? Where do they come from? Is it also European-based? Yeah. Is it from Renault? Because it's, in this case, the drive is on the rear axle. Will it be standard in the Flexis vans? So that's quite a difference to Renault vans.
Firstly, this is a engine mounted at the rear. This is an engine mounted at the rear. This is the most compact motor we are launching, and this is produced at Europe. Yeah, produced in Europe. this motor is produced in Europe, and this is an 800-volt compact motor that is located at the rear of this. This is the first skateboard ever made, and hence it is the first application. In the future, if Renault is going to have a lineup, will they borrow the motor? I can't comment that today.
Back again, gentlemen. Can you clarify that the Volvo Group investment is primarily going to be operational through Renault Trucks, and that Volvo Trucks, the other brand within the Volvo Group, will not have, we say, a retail presence within the whole structure of Flexis?
Okay. First of all, Volvo, like Renault, is intervening at different levels. As a shareholder, and it's the Volvo Group, and Volvo and Renault Group both invested 300 million euros in Flexis, and CMA CGM has also committed 120 million. So altogether, our shareholders have committed approximately 720 million. After that, Volvo is also, we are also having an agreement with Volvo to use the Volvo service and solution know-how and technology, because you have understood vans, technologically they are close to cars, but in the way you use them in logistic fleets, they are used like trucks. And I think that when we have said that, we explain why Renault and Volvo came together, because they all both had a part of the solution. Okay, so after that, on the distribution side, which is another part of the relationship, Renault brand and the Renault Trucks brand is, on behalf of the Volvo Group, they are the two distribution channels, because today in the Volvo Group, it's the Renault Trucks brand which has this generalist approach going from heavy duty all the way down to light commercial vehicles, which Volvo Trucks doesn't have in its strategy. And then I think that even if I come from Volvo, I should let now my colleagues from the Volvo Group give you more comments when you have the opportunity to ask that question. Thank you. High interest, high questions. What I suggest is that we continue the discussion around the vehicles so that you can touch and feel. And I especially also recommend that you go and see the model in the back where you can enter into the vehicle and experience the driver. I would like also to highlight that we have with us today Andreas Kunkat, head of Flexis Germany, and Matt Hawkins, head of UK, who are also here with us, and we can answer your questions also. Thank you.